You ready?
All right, good evening and welcome to the Parks and Rec Commission meeting. I would like to officially call this meeting to order at 5:02 p.m. 5 p.m., sorry. We will do roll call. I'm present, Chairman Kessel, Ben Kramer,
Present.
John Jones, Becky Keck,
Present.
and Robin Osmondstad.
Present.
Okay, first item is the general public comment. This is the time members of the public may give comment of a general nature. No official action may be taken by the commission during this time unless it is to direct staff to look into a matter. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes. If you are watching online and would like to make a public comment, please send a chat message to the host in Zoom.
We don't have any requests for comment.
Okay, thank you. First up are updates, and Parks and Rec Director Joni Westcott will provide an update on first Santa Comes to Clarkdale event.
Good evening, commissioners. I just want to give you a very brief, as brief as I am, on the Santa event on Saturday. Some of you were able to attend and help. We had about 167 children attend and total of approximately 334 attendees altogether with adults and children. It is a number that is lower than our previous years. We kind of track that up to a couple of things, being that we were in the clubhouse. We felt like we could have probably improved our signage on getting people here. The parking lot was very full because of Made in Clarkdale. And so we felt like maybe that deterred some people from the parking perspective. So we had great volunteers helping, and some that really took some ownership of their positions. And Commissioner Osmondstad, your setting up the games and doing all that was really so helpful and really fun. We had a lot of feedback about the organization and the flow of everything and how well that worked for everyone. It seemed like a very nice event because of that low attendance. If we had had 230 kids like we have had in the past, that might have looked very different in the facility. We had the art area needs some expansion. There's a lot of things that we're going to need to consider for next year, and we have notes on all of that, and we'll, we can talk about that again next year. We would like to, what staff is talking about, most importantly, is probably setting up some type of a survey for residents to give feedback on location. There are some really positive things about having it here, and there are some really more positive things about having it at the park and vice versa. So we'd like to consider and have put in our notes for next year to conduct a survey asking people about their experience and about location, as well as a possible date change. We've always done it on the first Saturday of December. It's a standard, but it's also the same time as the parade. There are lots of things that that can affect attendance. Made in Clarkdale is also that weekend. So consider, and the chocolate walk. Yes, there were so many things going on. So just something to consider if we want to increase attendance, then some of these things, we really just think it's important, as I know you will, that polling the public and what their feelings are on it would be important in continuing the event. And that's the basic of the Santa event. It was great.
Okay, next update, Selma Mangini.
So you have in your packet our update up to the date that we created the packet. Just a couple of things. I did want to mention that Shell and I attended the Arizona Outdoor Recreation Coordination Commission meeting in Phoenix last week. They're a subcommittee of Arizona State Parks and Trails. They reviewed our request for additional $500,000 in funding through the LWCF grant and approved it to move to the next step. So the next step is it goes to Arizona State Parks Board. That will be tomorrow at the same time as our pre-construction meeting for the park. So Shell and I are splitting up on that one, and she'll attend that meeting. It's really just a formality. It's on a consent agenda, so we're just there to in case they have any questions. So we hope that should go through. And then the next step from there is it will go to national parks. Mickey Rogers from Arizona State Parks has informed us that National Parks is aware that it's coming. So we hope for a pretty quick turnaround on that. But as you can see from the notes, the town council did approve additional funds through the town if we were unsuccessful in getting those funds. We are really beginning to kick off the capital campaign for the items, and we included that in your packet, that brochure. Please let us know if you have any business contacts or just community members that you know would be interested in contributing to any of the items or just to the park in general. Please have them reach out to us, and we can take it from there, but we would just dearly love any help that you have and your contacts in life in Clarkdale and around the Verde Valley that of folks that may be interested in. And we actually, I think we have on here $7,050 has been collected, but I know we have at least another 1,000 came in this week, and it just is continuing. So do you remember exactly what our total was? I thought it was like 11,000 or something now. No, okay.
The total that we've raised,
For me?
for the total that we've raised,
Yes.
so we're at $19,500
Okay.
plus the amount from Freeport.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and that's all I have. Did we put in there the pre-construction meeting is tomorrow? So we'll be, and we've just been busy getting all the finalization of colors and all the details of things that they ask us for at the last minute.
Okay, the next item are the minutes from our November 13th meeting. Does anybody have any discussion on that? Corrections, additions? Okay, so anybody like to make a motion to approve these minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from November the 13th, 2024.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Keck and seconded by Commissioner Osmondstad to approve the minutes from November 13th as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes unanimously. Next up is discussion items only. First is the Parks Memorial Dedication Policy.
So per your staff report, the Parks and Rec Department has over the years received requests for memorial dedication equipment to be placed particularly in Town Park, but it could be any park. And really what we're looking for, and we put these notes together for you to take a look at and have a discussion about if you like, or if you'd like us to just move forward with what is included here to develop a more refined policy, we can do that. But particularly we're looking for consistency because we just need that when folks are coming to us and they want a particular item, or it's just, we could have those items all over town. And then we've got the maintenance and those considerations of the items. So if we have a policy, then we have the staff has something to work off of. So I just like to open up the discussion, see how you feel about the notes. I don't know if anyone had any time to do any research outside of the notes, but on memorial policies, we've done a pretty extensive look into it on our own. It can go very long and detailed, or it can be very brief but clear. So I'll just let you all have a discussion. Open up.
Does anybody have any comments or?
So we could include all types of the memorials. I mean, all of them sound great. Or would we really focus on one or two?
That's really for you all to have a discussion about as to what you think would be best for the town, using these guidelines and creating the purpose of why we're going to do it, how we choose, decide on eligibility, the types of memorials. Yes, we could do all of those kind of things, or we could limit it to one thing. One of the things that we're doing for Selma Mangini Park is we are allowing people to make donations, but we're not putting plaques on any particular thing other than like big ticket items like the pavilion. We may end up doing that, but we're not doing like memorial benches and that kind of thing. And primarily it's because of the maintenance, but we are recognizing donors we'll have a donor board that will recognize the donors, and they can include a memorial name if they like to. So just, yeah.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas?
Well, I like excuse me. I like the plan for Selma Mangini to kind of have a centralized location for the donors. I guess I don't, and maybe I'm just imagining it poorly, but when we fast forward 30 or 40 years, are all of our like common public spaces, kind of like covered in tiny bronze plaques. I think it's a nice thing to do, but I guess my impression is that a lot of municipalities or area places, they do this kind of as like a revenue building thing, and then in the long run it ends up being a lot more costly to maintain than that. I guess I understand it to be something that there are some challenges from an administration standpoint. There's something we used to talk quite a bit about was staff time involved in some of the decisions we made. I mean, going back to early days on Parks and Rec Commission, that was kind of why we talked about the library at length. It seems like this would create like a whole wing of extra work for town staff that would have to be kind of maintaining these applications. Do you have any idea what kind of impact that would have for the department, Joni?
Yeah, it would definitely have an impact, because if we open it up, I mean, if we're quiet about it, then, right now we don't get a ton of requests. They come in very occasionally, but it is that management of, maintaining the items that have a specific memorial plaque attached to it.
Rather than physical items, and maybe this is too far off topic, I guess I would lean more towards the idea of having some sort of like trust that people could donate to that would continue to support the maintenance of all the public spaces, of the river access points and the parks, etc. And that would then a list of donors could be maintained, but something that would be in perpetuity would support the park. rather than this trash can and that, this handrail and these, these bricks, et cetera. I mean, I guess that would just be my personal preference. The flagpole has a memorial dedication in Town Park. Is that right? To Dr. Daniel Bright?
Yes, and several of our benches throughout Town Park also
I
have
mean,
that.
what happens when we hit the limit of benches after 16 benches?
Right.
And are people like waiting a period of time before
Well, and that I think you
do
bring
they
up a
expire?
think you bring up a good point, and certainly an idea that we can expand on, that uh, to not have a specific item, kind of like what we're doing at Selma Mangini Park. There's not a specific item that is memorialized. It's just their donation, and whoever they're wanting to memorialize can be on the sign, but we're not placing it throughout the park and or anywhere else in town for that matter. So I think that is certainly a direction if this commission is interested in having us go back and look at something more along those lines for everything, then we can certainly do that and bring something back at the next meeting for you to look at and consider.
Well, I would wonder, like, I think about like Courthouse Plaza in Prescott, which is like a long-standing park, one of the probably oldest ones. I wonder what if they have something like this in place, and if they do, what are the benefits or challenges that they're finding? Like someone who's 50 years ahead of Clarkdale in this process, how are they finding this as is it something really enriching to their patrons, or something that really detracts from the time that they have to build and maintain and grow their programming? That would be my question, I guess, just general discussion about the concept.
We can certainly do some specific, excuse me, research to more historic communities like ours, and see how they're managing that. I mean, we could have a map. We could go as far as to have a map and say, these are the available items, where we're willing to put a bench, or
Yeah,
an available bench that you could put something on. These are all the opportunities we have available to you. And then when they're all used up, then we just, we don't have an opportunity. So I like the idea of the trust and caring for public places, public spaces, because it doesn't limit us any longer. And really, it's not a fundraiser. It's not a moneymaker for the town. It
yeah,
has been. Any memorials we've done, we only charge the people the amount that it costs us to install that particular item. And we wouldn't anticipate it to be that. It's not really our purpose. It's more to let the community feel like they're able to memorialize their loved ones.
I think
yeah,
maybe we should also could look at, because yes, definitely a concern about the staff and town being tied up in this, and then thinking about things like benches and whatnot. But there are only so many of those. Now I've seen places where they have cobblestone like pavers that you can get in memorial of, like if we had, and instead of having multiples of options, have one standard option. You can get a paver. You get it, here it is, you have it inscribed, put it in, it's there, no more effort needed. Or I've seen where they have little medallions, and there would be like a medallion wall, for lack of better terms. And if we have a trust, that would take care of the wall, which would need minimal maintenance, if any. And it's the standard, and you get it engraved, whatever you would like it to say, in memorial of whomever. and then you put it in there, and that is sort of expandable. So if all of a sudden everybody in town wants to memorialize somebody, it's a, 2-inch by 5-inch little medallion or whatever the size would be, but it's not something that's going to plaster every park and every street everywhere. So there are things like that maybe that we could consider where it's a standardized format, a standardized item. Once it's been set up, there's really no more work involved by the staff.
Mhm.
Maybe it's even something you could go on the town website
Yeah,
and be able to fill out the form and, fill it out, something like that.
that's very, very thoughtful, Commissioner Jones. And actually, when you walk into our building in Centennial Plaza, we have a brick program there that very thing can happen. It's not just memorializing. Sometimes it's a staff member who's worked here for many years that, is recognized. And I mean, that's certainly something that we can do in the future. We've talked about adding some pavers to Town Park and getting rid of some of that in the center, some of that gravel that's in there that gets kicked up on the sidewalk all the time. So we could certainly consider something like that. We talked about we could, in order to pay for it,
Right.
we could do something like that. So why don't at this point, unless you have some other ideas, let us take these couple of things that you've contributed and let staff put together some things that we can bring back to you next meeting. Now that we know kind of the lines that you're thinking on, or at least a few options to choose from. How does that sound?
I had a question. This one line said memorials will be installed for a specified duration based on the item donated. How does that look?
Well, and that kind of goes back to my, if we have a map and we say, okay, we'll allow 10 benches in Town Park and only 3 of them are used up right now. And so then we can say, if you want a memorial, you can put a bench, but then we have to keep track of that. And we have to, if the bench falls apart or, something happens, then we have to manage that. So it's to say for a certain duration, maybe the life of the thing that they're putting it on, if that's the direction that we end up going and putting things on items. So that's kind of what that's about. Any other questions or ideas that we should consider? If you think of something in the meantime, just shoot us an email and we'll follow up.
Okay, the next discussion item is the Selma Mangini Park signage, and I believe we have some ASU visitors.
Yes, we do. Hello. It'll be me, and then I have the faculty member and then 2 students. Do we need to do introductions or anything for the record before we start?
That would be great.
Hello, I'm Julia Davis. My name is on the screen, Julia Davis. I'm the Senior Program Manager for the Project Cities program in the Sustainable Cities Network at Arizona State University. I'll have the professor, Kat, go next, and then the 2 students. Do you need any other specific, like name spellings or anything else from us?
Oh, we're good.
Great. Kat, go for it. Who are you?
Hey everyone, I'm Kat Lambrecht. I'm an assistant professor of technical communication at Arizona State University, and I was lucky to be involved in this project with Julia and my students and Joni and Shell. So I will turn it over for the next introduction.
Hannah, can you go just say your first and last name and then maybe what program you're studying at ASU?
Yeah, hello. I'm Hannah Choi. I'm happy to join this meeting. I'm studied signage from CATS, so we are design our signage, and I was happy to running the communications. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And then what degree program are you in at ASU?
A master, I'm in master degree, and our major is user experience.
Excellent, thank you. And when? Your first name, last name, and then your degree program.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I was in the cafe and the music was too loud, so now I'm in the car. So my name is Wen, and my last name is Wen. So I'm same as Hannah. We are both the first graduate student in user experience, and we are really lucky to be in this program with Professor Kate to design for the part together. And thank you for this opportunity for us to directly talk to the Clarkdale team. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, students. So Clarkdale Parks Commissioners, next I'll share my screen and then talk a little bit about what Project Cities is, just in case you aren't aware of our long-term partnership with Clarkdale and sort of how it's evolved. I'll share briefly kind of the what happened, the process of this fall 2024 academic semester collaboration. And then I'll go through and sort of briefly share all of the final designs from the students. The slides will be numbered. And then when can you mute yourself so I don't hear your thank you. No worries. So then I'll share all of the final sign designs, and the slides will be numbered on the bottom right-hand corner. So if you take a note and you want us to go back to one or something, just let us know. And then after I'm done with that kind of overview, we have Hannah and Wen here, who will either be able to share their screen, or if they want me to share my screen, they can talk more about the team that they were on and some of the work that they did. And then Kat can also share some information. A lot to do. I'll go ahead and get started. So for Clarkdale and ASU Project Cities have been collaborating for a long time. In our most recent iteration of collaboration, the ASU Project Cities program, which connects research, resources, and innovation of the university with the local communities throughout Arizona in which ASU is situated. We were lucky to receive a grant through the Arizona Water Innovation Initiative, specifically the Impact Water Arizona program, to host a workshop in Verde Valley communities last spring, in spring 2024. And then out of that workshop came a few different project proposal ideas focused around all things water in Verde Valley communities. So we have the pleasure of working with the Clarkdale team again through this particular support system on a project focused around designing park signage for Selma Mangini Park that's focused on water as well as STEAM, so which we'll get into, but that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So what we did specifically during the fall 2024 academic semester, that's what we'll focus on today. So first, starting in late August, we introduced the students. They're in this class called TWC 501, which stands for Fundamentals of Technical Communication. There were 30 amazing first-year graduate students who are studying user experience design, so how people interact with the world digitally, in person, all those sorts of things. And then they were taught by Kat Lambrecht, who's the faculty member here, and I'll let her say a few words about the class in a few moments. So first, the students were introduced to the project itself and then the town of Clarkdale. So the town manager came virtually to class, so Susan came and presented to them just briefly about the context. And then second, we had the students divide into STEAM teams. So since there were 30 students, we had 6 students per team for 5 teams. And then we were able to leverage our grant resources to be able to bring the students to Clarkdale for a day to see the clubhouse and then spend some time at Selma Mangini Park with Shal and Joni to share a bit more of that context where science might go in the future, the purpose of it, more of those kind of target audience question, those sorts of things. And then we had about an hour or two kind of ideation brainstorming sessions. And then after that site visit, we came back to the classroom, and then this was mostly Kat leading the way. So each of the STEAM teams worked really hard to develop their own team mission, vision, finalize their target audience, talk about evaluation criteria for their signage, internal team brand guidelines that were based on the Clarkdale brand guidelines to inform their first drafts of signage. They were able to use research and industry best practices to then design those first drafts. They learned all about water in Arizona, as well as the Verde Valley. And then over throughout October and November, we were able to get some feedback from the Clarkdale Artists Working Group, Clarkdale Park staff, and then other ASU faculty and students through various methods. And then finally, over the past couple weeks, we've had each of those teams incorporate their feedback, incorporate that feedback into final design products that were showcased to the park staff in early December. And then we also were at Made in Clarkdale this weekend and had some opportunity for some residents to give feedback on signage as well. So today we're here to kind of show you the final products, discuss as needed, and then we'll be delivering kind of all the final elements to the park staff in the next week or two. That's my background info. Dr. Lambrecht, do you have any other information to share, context?
Sure thing. Thanks so much, Julia. I would say most of what I have to share is gratitude, because this was just a wonderful experience with my students. So my students come in typically with a great deal of technical expertise. A lot of them have computer science backgrounds, visual design. Some are, back-end website designers, and all of these skills are very wonderful, but they only get us so far in designing for an actual client, right? And from a teaching perspective, there's really no substitute for working with an actual group of humans and an actual community project. So I just want to extend, again, my gratitude. I feel like working with Clarkdale could not have been a better experience for my students. Joni and Shell were so warm and kind, and just gave great feedback, and just feel like in general, it was a wonderful experience. I think it's the kind of experience that, again, can't really be fabricated. My students really invested in this park and the community and tried their best to make something that we thought you all would resonate with you. And yeah, I think mostly I just have gratitude, and I'll hand it over to my students, and I'm here to answer any questions. But thank you so much, Julia and team, and thank you, Clarkdale, for being so warm and welcoming.
Okay, great, thank you. Joni, are you good for me to kind of move on to the showing all the final designs in a slow but fast fashion?
Yes, I would like to add that overall, our experience in working with this team and the ASU staff has been phenomenal. I mean, we really, the students really engaged and got excited about our program and about the signs that we can use for the park, and were thoughtful in their considerations. They took feedback from us very well. And just couldn't have been a better experience. And Kat and Julia have been amazing to work with, as well as all the students.
Thank you. All right, I will go through the signs. I will go at like, I don't know, 20 or 30-second intervals. If you want me to slow down or speed up, let me know. But I'll kind of go in order of the STEAM team. So first we have science team designs. I put the student names up there for your reference. I'll maybe wait like 10 seconds and then go. Did that feel like enough time? Do we want more? Is 10 good? Okay, I'll go to the next one. Next one. And this is now the technology team designs. Continuing. Okay, and I'm moving on to engineering.
Can you go back one slide, please?
Yes. And then we'll be able to share all the final designs with Joni and Shell next week, and they can pass them along. We know it's a lot of information, but we wanted to give you the impression
It looks like the
today.
bottom part of the sign is in Braille. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, very cool. I like that. I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, no worries. And then this one, this water droplet, it's a physical, so you'd be able to kind of move it along. They had an animation in it I couldn't capture via screenshot. And then this one, we won't do it today, but if you scan this QR code, it'll pop up with like a 3D render that the student created where there's like a park ranger talking about water. Very cool. And then here, this would be like a fan that would move based on solar power or or maybe the wind, whichever energy system makes sense. Okay, now moving on to art. And now math, last but not least. And this would be like laminated with plastic or some sort of whiteboard material. So then there might be like kind of expo markers that come and go from the park over time, but you'd be able to have people kind of write in and do the math. Maybe it's chalk or something, but this would be an interactive sign. And then this one would be kind of flipping back and forth. All right, those are all the slides I have. I'll go back to my beginning one, and then if anyone has ones they want to go back to, let me know. Otherwise, my plan now is to turn it over to the students if they wanted me to go to a specific site or share your own screen and share any more about kind of your specific signage or your process you went through or anything else you'd like to share. Joni, what makes sense?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyone who's in the room or online, if you'd like me to go back to a specific
Yeah.
slide,
Do
I
you guys
can.
want to see any of the slides again?
Or would either of the students, maybe, did they want?
The students.
We can have them go ahead.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Hannah or Wen, is one of you ready to share? I can pick on one of you. Hannah, go for it.
Yeah. I made an app. So from the signage, my signage connect with the app application. So many people can communicate have a community in the app. So I recommend it. Yeah, that's all.
Do you remember which slide your sign was on? Here, I'll share my screen again.
I know it's the team technology with the map and the 3 panels is Hannah.
Yes, team technology.
There we go.
This one? Or wait, this one?
Slide 5.
This one, right? Oh, yes. Okay. Come on, screen share. So it was this one here, and then the QR code there. Oh, this one was very cool. I can pull up the other slide deck too. But yes, you can scan the QR code and then it exports to like a kind of a social media-ish kind of interface platform where people can learn more about the park and talk through that. And so this sign here, while it's within the kind of technology team, this is also potentially that kind of introductory sign to the park. So Hannah was able to, through her iterations, add kind of the STEAM definition on the left side of it. And then she actually did the mock-up to edit kind of what the park looks like overall, which Jody and Shell were very impressed with, and kind of label where some of those elements might be. There's potential to have that be a charging station, or have signage about, hey, there is charging throughout the park here that maybe is based on solar energy or whatever makes sense. And then talking about how the park is for the community, and then yeah, that stay connected is to have like the app that she created to be able to interact. Did that make sense, Hannah? Great, cool. And then Wen, anything you wanted to add? Which sign was yours?
Do you mind if I share my screen?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is my design, and the concept of this design is to tell people why water resources is so important for Clarkdale by telling the history between Verde River and Clarkdale. So this part sign contains two parts, and the upper part is about the general history of Verde River and Clarkdale, about the mining industry and how it affects the Clarkdale and what we did to reconstruct the river. And the bottom part is the interactive game with 16 boards. So as you can see the animation here. So if you combine these 16 boards together, it will become a big image of Verde River ecosystem. So the game is that each board, it has a little quiz on it, and if the kid or the user, once they answer the quiz, they can flip a board. So after all 16 boards being flipped, it will become like the right side here. It will become a clean Verde River ecosystem. So by this process, I want to show people, oh, you can step by step make this river a better future. And for the materials, these part signs, I use two materials. For the center part is in pine, and for the outer pillar is brushed aluminum with heat resistant coating. So the reason why I choose these two materials is that I actually have, so when choosing the materials, I set four requirements. And first of all, the cost must be affordable. Second, the material, I want the pillars, I want the material be shiny, but they cannot be over glory, so it will hurt your eyes. And most importantly, that it cannot be too hard for the kids to touch it. And also, the wood should be easy to paint, because the image you see here, it should be painted on the wood. So pine and brushed aluminum is my final decision. And when designing this part, I have three main design focuses. First of all, I wish everyone can enjoy this sign. So I know this sign is not only for the kids, but also for the old generation or for the visitors. So I want to make sure that the height is comfortable for everyone, and the text and the font size is everyone can enjoy easily. And second, it must be interactive, because we know that is the best way to engage people. Third, I want the sign to be blending with the with the park scenery. So we've been there before. We took a field trip there, and I think it is a beautiful view in the park. It is a beautiful view in the park. So I don't want this sign just to be something really big there and block all the views. So that's why I choose to use so many boards to make it a little bit see-through. So, and this is my journey to design this board, to design this sign. And all this feedback comes from peer review and eye tracking data, and as well as the feedback from Clarkdale. So you can see start from a really rough sketch, and eventually we add more things, colors, typography, layout. Then yeah, we have the final here. So one thing I want to mention that because from the feedback we have from Clarkdale, I noticed that we have many links. Like, for example, for the official sites of Clarkdale, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have the private website. No, not private website, the official website. So we have so many links. And we also want to have like external link, like government link, etc. So we have many links. I think it's a great idea to integrate them all together to be a Linktree profile, as you can see here. So I made this Linktree profile for the QR code. So I think it's a great idea because Linktree file that you can edit it every time. It's a living page, so it's easy to maintain. We don't have to worry that any links expire in the future. So that's it. And for the next step, if you want to implement this sign, I think there are 3 things you can consider. First of all, you may want to rethink the quiz I put on the boards, because those quiz I don't know what you think, because you can edit anytime. And second, you may want to like take over the Linktree page so you can maintain it by yourself in the future. And last but not least, you can confirm with the vendor about the materials I choose to make sure that it really works. So it's my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Wen. All right, great. And I think you can stop share. Or I don't know, anyone have questions? Or no, it's okay, all good. Any questions for the students? Or Kat or me?
I just wanted to say how I think I can speak for everybody about how impressed we are. I can see the great work that's been put into it and that you've really taken our needs into consideration, and I think we're very impressed. So thank you for all your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was very clear to us were there 28 presentations?
I think 30.
Total?
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, 30
Mhm.
on the day that Shell and I were down in their classroom. And I mean, you could tell they really had thought things through. They came here, they sat in the park, they visited with us, they got a lot of information from us. And I mean, we've done a lot of projects with ASU, and it's always been a positive. This was, from our perspective, and I know from yours as well, something that we have an end product that we can use. Obviously a little bit of modifications along the way, but not only did they do signage, they were very thoughtful in giving us the manipulatives that can, that provide that hands-on learning that we really want to accomplish. And so it's, yeah, phenomenal.
I was just going to say, we'd love to invite them to the opening. I would love to meet them. They're just fabulous.
That would be awesome.
We can make it happen.
We will send out an invite and, yeah, that's great. Great job.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, any other questions or anything you need from us at this moment besides the finals?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your
here.
time tonight. And thanks, Kat and the students again. And big thank you to Joni and Shell for always being such fantastic collaborators on all of the projects over the years. So we'll be in touch about next steps and everything. But yeah, reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. You guys
Thank
are
you.
rock stars. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to mention that these students, actually, their class ended the day that we were down there. And some of them opted to come up on to meet in Clarkdale on Saturday and did this project where they use these eyeglasses, they're tracking glasses that actually track what you're looking at. So they put up our signs, some of the signs, and invited the public in to use these glasses, and it actually tells them the data from the glasses, tell them what drew their eyes to, within like, yes, how long they looked at, what was the first thing they looked at, what were the things that they looked at, and what didn't they look at. So they're also going to be providing us with that information, which was really cool. And then again, today, this was, not a part of their class. They've already received their grades. And so just to even have 2 students come and be here for you guys, I thought was cool.
Did I understand that there are hard copies that we
will be getting those
in our hands?
Yes. So apparently the instructor, Kat, is, they're in the process of getting their final grades in now, and then they will provide all of the information to Julia to give to us. And so we will have copies of those, and we will also have it in a form that we can modify. So that's going to be important because the content, I mean, what you're looking at today is more the visual, and the content, while it is good, needs a little bit of modification, but they did a good job. I mean, most of the students are not from Arizona, and so they, we got things like with saguaro cactuses, and we're like, we don't have saguaros here, so let's do something different. So the feedback we gave them was mostly those type of things. Not zebras, but I noticed they changed. We had a fox and a deer, and so they really listened to what we had to say and made the changes, made them graphically beautiful, and we're super excited to implement them.
Did you want?
Okay, just speak up.
So ASU Project Cities is also offering to help pay a portion of actually creating the signs. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
want to talk
between
about-
$7,000 and $11,000. They've got some grant funding that they'll be able to let us know how much of that actually that we can have, but it's up to 11,000 that we can use for the signage, because none of it's going to be cheap to do. It's all very, depending on what we choose, and that will be the next process, right? And choosing what is actually what and where we're going to put the signage in the park.
And our overall budget is currently $40,000 now for signage, but that's also including a large monument sign when people enter. So some of that money's already been designated, but we anticipate that their 7,000 to 11,000 will be on top of that amount. So it'll be great to help with making them movable.
Well, I couldn't help in looking at the signs about the river. for a completely maybe future thought, but similar signs down at the put in and takeout points at the river, I think would be awesome.
Yes.
Those are great looking signs, and right now when you go down there, there's really nothing, and it's unfortunate, but
Yeah,
I
and
couldn't help but visualize seeing them down by the river and thinking, man, that would be
way cool.
great.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. So that's a future project. Keep it,
Right.
you know, in your mind to bring up. Let us get through the park first.
Did you have anything else on that?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to new business, 2025 concerts in the park.
Okay, it's that time of year. Staff has sat down and gone through a calendar and landed on the dates that you have in front of you. And I think Bailey also provided you with, yes, we have the 2025 concerts in the park. These are the directions to the bands to submit and the timeline of which to do it. And then also a copy of the application that they complete before or to turn in to be considered for selection for the 2025 season. So we're basically just looking at the schedule. We did start in May. A lot of the feedback that we had from last year, and I'm sure those of you who've worked the concerts, all of you who have worked the concerts, are aware that late September, the later September dates are difficult for lighting, and so we propose starting a little earlier and getting done a little sooner. Also, though, it leaves a date in September for any reschedules if we must. So that way we're not completely filling up the schedule. We've got a date, an alternative date if we have to cancel any concerts due to weather.
So I know you're involved with the Clarkdale Downtown Business Alliance. What are their, I know you've must have worked around their events or whatever.
We did, they're actually not doing the summer block parties. They're not considering those any longer. Smeltertown will be doing a beer festival, and that was taken into consideration here. Their date is most likely the 18th, I believe, of May. So it would be two weeks before the May 31st. So we had actually thought we had tried to start a little earlier in May, like, okay, maybe we kick it off on May 18th and maybe not have any September concerts. But yeah, that's their consideration date. So we did work with them on that.
And when early January call out to the bands, do we have a date for that?
Yes, January. Let me see if Bailey put it here. I think January 6th.
That's the Monday.
Okay, yes, January 6th to begin the call out, or that bands can start submitting at that date. And then to receive their applications no later than February 7th. And then 2 weeks after that, basically, we would be letting them know. And our protocol, just so everyone understands, is we keep all of the band, anybody who has ever submitted an application or shown interest in performing at the town park for the concert series, we have their email addresses. So when we start this process, we kick it out to them and say, you know, these are the dates. Get your application into us, and you'll be considered for the concert season. And then we need to select a committee. If we want any changes on that, in the past we've had a commissioner, Chair Kessel has been on the, yeah. And
Carrie Schneider.
Kurt Schneider, thank you. And then staff, I think is pretty much, yeah. Right. Even though I just put it out there publicly. Sorry about that.
Okay, visitor.
We don't know who's going to be on the committee. We'll be deciding that at a future date, and we won't tell anybody. Thanks for the reminder, Shaw.
Did anybody have any discussion on that or questions?
When the best news is that the gazebo will be done and we'll be
Yay.
able to use it for the bands again and save. We included the budget in here. You can see we went well over our budget due to having to rent the stages, and we won't have to do that any longer, which will be fantastic. So we'll probably make that up in the first year.
Does that explain the big jump for 2023 and 24 for the general expenses? That's the stage.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think we only had one concert in 23 that we didn't have to have a stage for.
Yeah, that's significant.
Mhm.
Any more discussion? And I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the 2025 Concerts in the Park event schedule as written.
I second that.
It's been moved by Commissioner Osmondstad and seconded by Commissioner Jones to accept the 2025 concerts in the park as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Right, passes unanimously. Okay, we move it on to future agenda items. Does anybody have anything they'd like to see? I was thinking I'd like an update on the youth advisor. Yes.
I will have one for you.
All right. Anybody else?
I would like to request an agenda item to update the Parks and Rec Commission on some of the Bicycle Advisory Commission or committee work that we've been doing, including the bike audits that you may have seen happening around town.
Thank you.
Um,
Good one.
Anybody else? Okay, well, with no future items, is there any objection to adjournment? Okay, this meeting is adjourned at 6:03.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.